I have literally been trying to do this video like 3 different times. So we're going to start over again. This is your girl, Belladonna Krishana, here with the Leo mid-month reading. I am so excited that you are here with me and that we can conversate again. Thank you so much. Last month was really awesome because I started these videos and I didn't necessarily know if anyone was actually going to watch them, honestly, because I didn't advertise or anything, and not even on my Facebook or my Instagram, which you can also subscribe to if you'd like. And so it was really nice to actually, it's really nice to actually have people respond and to comment and to like and to subscribe and share. And thank you so much. So that is my thank you, my big, huge thank you. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start with your reading. I was meditating on your guys' energy, and I'm going to tell you what sort of came up for me. Oh, what did come up for me, rather. The idea of, okay, sorry, I have like hair in my eye. Ugh. The idea of luxury and richness. The idea of Leos and how we are the sun, and often we forget because we give so much out and we do so much for other people that I think that sometimes we forget how rich our lives really are. And richness doesn't necessarily mean that you have a lot of money. Richness doesn't necessarily mean that you have everything together, that everything is in order. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But it does mean that you have a spirit of sovereignty, and everything that you're doing is because you choose to do it. And a lot of times we forget because we put ourselves in the trap of I have to. You don't have to do anything. But especially Leos, a lot of times we choose to be there. We choose to show up. We choose to give. We choose to be, to be more, to do more. And oftentimes that puts us in a very interesting place. It puts us in a place of sometimes feeling trapped and sometimes feeling like we're not as free as we are. But we hold the energy of the sun. And what is the energy of the sun? It is that freedom. It is that ability to relax and to have fun. And it doesn't necessarily mean that anything in your life changes, but the perception of what happens in life changes, okay? So I already shuffled the cards because I've done this like 3 or 4 different times already. And I am going to tell you what I see. So we start with the 3 of Swords here. So the 3 of Swords is the card that's basically talking about heartbreak, or it's talking about the feeling of betrayal. And that's kind of easy for Leos to feel. I know myself as a Leo, it's sort of easy for me to feel because it takes a lot for me to finally get into a place where I have, I've given, I've been there, I've shown up, and someone who maybe isn't as emotionally mature, or someone who I was, playing Captain Save-A-Ho with, with my cape and everything, someone who I was engaging with in that way does something or takes me for granted, and all of a sudden I have not only the sense of betrayal, but it takes me a really long time for that energy, for that fire to really die out. It takes a really long time for that fire to get cold. Now do not be mistaken. Once that fire goes cold, it's done. It's over. But it takes a really long time, and it takes a lot for me to get to that place. And so I can just relate, as being a Leo, that the feeling of betrayal doesn't really take as much as probably we allow people to do a lot more before we actually get to a point of saying like, oh no, you betrayed me and you're done. We allow a lot to get there, a lot of energy before that happens. So this is kind of speaking to that feeling that you're probably in, that state of sort of feeling betrayed and feeling like, do I even want to give anymore? Like, do I even want to be in this place where I open up my heart? And we're the heart chakra, like that's us. So, so it's kind of, it's almost insane for us to even think that we are just going to close shop. That's it. I'm just going to close shop. I'm done. I'm not going to give anymore. I'm tired of people betraying me or taking me for granted. I'm tired of being in a place where I feel like I give more than everybody else, And so that's kind of brought us to, and so we have the devil card. And the devil card is that sort of sense of, it's a sense of bondage, but bondage to what? Bondage to our own selves, bondage in our own hearts. Like, we are binding ourselves. We are in a place where, we have decided that I'm tired of giving. I'm tired of people taking for granted all that I have to give. I have this treasure, and I'm tired of people seeing that treasure and they just steal from the chest, and that's it. They steal from the chest and they run off. So the thing is, I was actually going through a really rough time myself. I'm making this really personal, so I'm sorry, but I do, maybe you relate as well. There was a time when I was dealing with an ex of mine, and I felt this. I felt like, he took me for granted. I felt like all the work that I did, I mean, because we're all about the dramatics. So, so it's real romantic. It's real romantic, and it's traveling 7,000 miles for you if we got to, because it's the passion, it's the fire, it's the love. So anyway, and it's so funny because I was listening to Spotify and the new Mary J. Blige album was up there, or the newest, I guess, Mary J. Blige album. And there's this song, and the only reason I'm telling the story is really for this song, was like, I'm trying to remember the lyrics. Think about how valuable you are. Don't let what he put you through cause you to close your heart. I know your heart is aching. I know your heart is breaking. You gotta love like you never been hurt to get the love that you deserve. And it was, mind you, Mary J is also like the quintessential like person you go to whenever you're like heartbroken. So like, Mary J. But it was the lyrics that I kept within my heart to just remind me of like, okay, I know you're feeling this way, but you have such a treasure. You have such a wealth of love to give, to close that up and to not give that anymore because of some stupid moves, some like idiots, like, some animals. I'm saying it that way for like the young kids who watch, even though you know exactly what I just said. But to give it up for those type of people, to give up that energy just because a couple people didn't appreciate it. There's billions of people on this planet. And there's someone who's coming who is like, yo, Leo though, like she can bake. She got my back. She's ride or die. Like Leo though. Like somebody is out there and they're looking exactly for you. And just because the people that you've attracted because of the energy that you've held, for so long, are coming and they aren't the people who necessarily appreciate that, doesn't mean that person's not out there. And the thing is that what we have to do is we have to take this heartbreak and use this as a stepping stone of transformation. And what I mean by that is you have to allow yourself to go through that process of which you're like, okay, so yeah, I was heartbroken, but let me see where I can work with this. Let me see how I can transmute this energy so that it's beneficial to bringing in more richness and more abundance in my life. Richness is in all areas, and that's what we need to be focused on, our luxury brand, if you will, of being the Leo. We need to focus on our luxury, and our luxury also includes the richness of our heart. And so if you have to do clearings, if you have to do emotional work, if you have to talk to a therapist, do what you need to do, but you can't stop giving. To not stop giving would be so detrimental to this world, because you're needed. You're so important. And I hope you know that. So I'm sorry I went on a whole big tangent about heartbreak, but maybe that's beneficial to somebody. So I That's the message. We have the moon card. And so I feel like this is definitely talking about that, dark night of the soul that we're talking about. That place where we've moved past, we've realized that, okay, this isn't going to work. I have to do something different. But it's causing a little depression. It's causing a little bit of a dark night of the soul. And we're going to move through that because we've taken on more than this. Like, we've gone through a lot of stuff. We've been able to do it. We've been just fine. And we come out bigger and better and stronger, faster, And so this time may have hurt a little bit more. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. This time maybe hurt a little bit more. Felt like it hurt a little bit more. But it's just kind of finally reaching that place of, and there's this quote, and I can't remember who it's by, but it's transformation. Transformation has never happened without somebody getting tired of their own bullshit. Again, I'm trying to keep it family friendly. Bullshit. BS, if you will, so that I don't have to cuss. Anyway, so I'm going to pull from my other deck, and we're going to see. So this is basically where we're starting, the reading, and I'm going to pull cards, and we're going to see, where are we going to end up? What's going on? Let me shuffle my infamous cards. These, I love them, but they're still, they're still very much bent, and some of the cards are missing, and but it's not necessarily that important. These cards still get the message across, but I love them. They're like adopting a rescue cat with 3 legs. They're like that kind of love. Okay, so my cards. We're going to go ahead and pull a couple. We're going to pull 6 cards, I think, for this. So 6 cards. Okay. All right. So here we go. We're starting with Magician. So here it is. Look, the Magician has all the tools that the Magician needs right on the table. And the thing is with the Magician is it's about your will. I actually wrote about this earlier in my blog, which my blog is listed down below. But it's about your will. And it's about reclaiming your will. And the future looks like whatever you want the future to look like, whatever work that you do for the future to look the way that you want it to. And so whenever something ends, that is a great time for you to really look at the elements that existed within that relationship that you were in and to change it up if you need to. So you might need to sit there and just be like, you know what? I know that X, Y, and Z didn't work. I know that my Captain Save-A-Ho cape needs to go back on the rack, and that perhaps I need to seek more fulfilling relationships with people who have more to offer emotionally, Or I know that the job that I was at wasn't necessarily the best I can do, and my heart wasn't really in it, but I felt like I needed a job at that time, so I just took it. But I know that now I have the opportunity to actually go for what speaks to my heart. I know that, whichever living situation that I was in wasn't necessarily the greatest, and I know I stayed for the sake of stability, but now it's time for me to move on and move forward. The future looks like whatever energy you put forth. But that's on you. This isn't a card that talks about the cosmos or anything like that. This talks about if you put the energy in, if you put the work in, then you will have what you seek. And it's actually followed by the Star card. So the Star card is the card of hope. That is the card of, in the future, if you take these words and take heed to what I am saying right now, your future could look real bright. I really honestly felt like even when I was doing the meditation on our reading, I was feeling like I was listening to Diane Ward's Rich Bitch, you know, or Rich Bitch. I was trying not to cuss. Anyway, but I was, listening to that song because I was really feeling like I was feeling our collective luxury energy, our collective richness, and again, this has nothing to do with money, but our sovereignty, our like real housewives of the universe, like feeling, I was really feeling that. And so, this is the future looks like whatever you want it to look like, but the energy is there. And I feel like you're going to definitely start feeling that the energy is there of you having the ability for your life to look like pimped out AF as you want it to. But that's up to you. That's up to you, because you can also start keep wallowing in that past energy all you want to, or you can use this as a stepping stone for something brand spanking new. Have your Lexus, boo. Have your Lexus. So the Justice card comes up, and sometimes when we're also feeling kind of the dark night of the soul energy, we can also throw ourselves a little out of balance because we're pushing so many things away. Like it's like when you're hurt, you're like, okay, I don't know everything that hurt me yet, but I'm just gonna push everything away. And this is actually asking for you to don't do that. Let's get back to a point of balance. Let's actually balance out the energies right now so that we can create a balanced future. And one of my friends likes to say, whenever I call him and I'm like, oh, I'm really heartbroken about da 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 da, his response, and I love him so much, he's like my best friend, and his response is, all right, well, on to the next. And that actually is the kind of energy that we need to start embodying, the on to the next energy. Okay, on to the next. You can't go back to the past. You can only stay in the present and work towards the future. So, on to the next. That didn't work out. That sucks. Work through that energy and on to the next. And don't go backwards, because this is not the time to go backwards. This is the time to start new cycles. So, some of you are stuck in this Nine of Swords energy, or the people that you were dealing with for whatever reason brought this on. So a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety and staying up at night and not being able to sleep, and also with the ending of things, sometimes we come to this sort of this weird absolute state, which is like, oh, well, then I guess I'm going to be single forever, or I guess I'm never going to have a stable home, or I guess I'm never going to have a job. It's like weird and absolute anxiety, if you will. And it's not correct. Balance that energy, because that's not correct. Work through it. No one's saying that you can't have these emotions. We're just saying work through it, and don't let that absolute energy be your end all and be all response to things. So anyway, we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. So this also could be talking to people in your life that may be pushing you to heal faster than you're ready for. So this, and so I hope this information doesn't come off like that, but this could also speak to, those people who are pushing you to, well, just get over it. Just get a new job. And it's like, okay, yeah, but this isn't about that right now. This period of time, especially with the Mercury retrograde coming up, is not going to be about you starting anything new right yet, but it's going to be about you creating that energy, the magician energy, using the tools that you have in order to really work through the past energies, and then starting something new, but starting something new that starts a whole new cycle of greatness, not a whole new cycle of BS. So, watch out for this. We have the King of Swords energy, and this is kind of, I feel like this is sort of it's right under the Justice card too. I feel like this is sort of saying, right now, don't seek to start a whole bunch of new stuff. Like, heal where you are, but also be careful in the process of healing that you don't just turn cold. That you just don't, because you're the sun. Sun's warmth. It's not cold. Sun's warmth. And so just make sure that, in the process of healing, in the process of trying to balance your emotions and trying to find the energies that are going to work with you in the future, and in the process of, really working through what did and did not work in your past cycle, just make sure that you don't become the King of Swords, though, because that's not us. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Don't do that. So anyway, that's what I got. That's what I got. That is a 20-minute long video about the Leo mid-month reading, and I hope that was helpful. Again, thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting and sharing. I will see you guys for the mid-month April readings. And I hope this was really helpful. I know I had a lot of personal stories, but I really wanted to connect. So I hope that was, really helpful and that someone could relate. Okay? Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.